All right, so this should be a quick lesson because we have already covered completing the square, and that's what this is. So what we had a minute ago in the last lesson in video 6.1 is when we had something in vertex form. So remember, vertex form is y equals a x minus h squared, so this is really plus or minus, and then plus or minus k. And this is vertex form, and my vertex here is going to be hk. And this tells me my starting point. So this is the starting point of your graph, okay? So if the quadratic equation is not in vertex form, you should change it to vertex form by completing the square. Now, we did this in Unit 5, and if you remember, I said it was going to come back, and now it's back. So if we look at this, we don't know anything about this graph right now in this format. We know that it opens up. That's about all we know. We know that it opens up, and we know that it opens up because the coefficient on my A term is positive. It's positive, so it's going to open up. We don't know where it starts. We don't know any of that kind of stuff. So we're going to do complete the square. So we did a lot of completing the square in the last unit. I'm going to show you a shortcut now. If you need to do it the long way, then do it the long way. But this is going to be a shortcut for this. So I know that this is my B term. My first step here, when we did this last time, we moved the C value over, and then we took half of this. I'm going to change this now. I'm going to take half of this middle term. So half of the middle term is going to be negative 3. So 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So when I write this in vertex form, I know that my A value is 1 because there's nothing here. So my A value is 1. I'm going to just leave that as a blank there. This is a 1, right? And I have x minus 3 squared. So this 6, half of 6 is 3. That's where this 3 comes from. Well, when I square it, I now have a 9. So what do I have to do to go from 9 to 10? I'm going to add 1. 9 to 10, I'm going to add 1. So now this is in vertex form. So I have x minus 3 squared plus 1. So my vertex happens here, opposite of what we think, at 3, 1. So I can go over here to 3, and I can go up here to 1. My A value is 1, so I'm going to go up 1 on both sides. All right, same method. We know that the A value is 1, so I know that this is going to open up. I'm going to take my 8, I'm going to divide it by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is going to be a positive 4. So I have x plus 4. This value, half of it is 4. I'm going to square it. When this is squared, it's 16. What do I have to do to go from 16 to 14? I'm going from 16 to 14, so I have to subtract 2. And that is my vertex form. So my vertex here happens at opposite of what we think, negative 4, negative 2. So I'm going to go over negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go down 2. And my A value is 1, so I'm going to go 1 on both sides, and my parabola will look like that. Okay, now this is a little different. This is a little different because I have this negative that's out front. So if I have a negative out front, I'm going to factor a negative out, okay? So I know now that my graph is going to open down because I have this negative value. So I pull this negative 1, and this time I want to put the 1 with it, okay? Normally when we see a negative, we have an implied 1, but this time I'm actually going to put the 1 there. So inside, I'm going to take 4, and I'm going to divide it by 2, and this is going to give me 2. So I have x, and I have 2. Now, here's the tricky part. If this is negative, what you see up here, this was negative, I kept the negative. This was positive, I kept the positive. Well, this is, if I look at this, I pulled out a negative 4. So because I pulled out a negative 4, then this value now becomes a positive number. So if it becomes a positive number, then this has to be a positive 2. And remember, I'm going to square it. So if I look at this, if I distribute this through, which is not correct, but if I was to distribute this through, this would be a negative value, and that's what I need, a negative value. So this is really tricky because I pulled out this negative. This changes to a positive 4. If this is a positive 4, this is a positive 2, and that's why I have plus 2. All right, so if I square this, I would get 4. Now, again, what we've done up above is we said we're going from 16 to 14, so we subtract 2. We're going from 9 to 10, so we add 1. This is different because of this negative 1 again. So what I have to do is I have to multiply this. So this is not a 4, this is really a negative 4. So how do I go from negative 4 to positive 1? So I know this is old school, but I'm going to do it this way. I'm here at negative 4, and I'm going to positive 1. So if I'm here and I'm going to here, I'm going to add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To go from negative 4 to positive 1, I'm going to add 5. So maybe repeat this video. I'm sure I'll go over this one a lot in class, but it's important that you understand how to do this when we've got a number that's out front here. Okay, so repeat this section of the video if you need to. So my vertex happens at negative 2, 5, and I know I'm going to open down. So negative 2, oh my gosh, these lines are awful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's still 1, but it's negative 1. So my graph is going to look like this. All right, let's do one more here where we have a coefficient. So again, I have to factor this coefficient out first. I know this is an A value that's positive, so if A equals 3, I know that this is going to be narrow and it's going to open up. So I know that right away, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor this 3 out, and I'm going to have, actually I don't want to do it that way, hold on. Let me do it this way. If I factor this out, 6 divided by 3 is going to be 2, right? Because I want to factor this out, and then I'm going to take half of 2, so half of 2 is 1. So I factored out the 3. So if I factor out the 3, let me do it this way, just so you can see this, plus 2x plus 1. I'm going to not do anything out here. All I've done is factored out the 3 on my x terms, okay? So if I distribute this back through, I would have 3x, and I would have 6x, which is what I have in the beginning part of my problem. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to take half of this middle term. So that's where this comes from. So I end up with an a term of 3, and this gives me x plus 1 squared. And 1 squared is 1. So how do I go? Oh, hold on. Look at me, I'm making mistakes. So 1 squared is 1, so I have to multiply this, so I have 3. So how do I go from 3 to 1? I'm going to subtract 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. So my vertex happens at negative 1, negative 2, and my a value here is positive 3. So negative 1, negative 2 is this guy right here. I go over 1 and I go up 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm sure we're going to do a lot of these in class, so if you were not present, then make sure you come in and see what other work we did on converting these and graphing these.